Welcome to the Commander Crew, a Magic the Gathering Commander YouTube channel where we ask the question, who's your commander?
We want to thank you for watching our videos. You can help support us by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and hitting the bell notification icon.
You can also go to thecommandercrew.com to check out our t-shirts, masks, pet hoodies, and other Commander Crew goodies.
If you want to buy any of the cards seen in this video, be sure to click our TCG Player affiliate link in the show notes below.
Lastly, you can help us out by heading to our official Patreon page and becoming a direct supporter of the channel. Now let's
get to the video.
Oh no.
What's up, everyone? It's your boy Eddie from the Commander Crew, and today we are discussing a new commander from Inistrad Midnight Hunt, and that commander is Gisa Glorious Resurrector. Gisa Glorious Resurrector costs 2 black and a black for a 4/4 legendary human wizard that reads, if a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it. At the beginning of your upkeep, put all creatures exiled with Gisa Glorious Resurrector onto the battlefield under your control. They gain Decayed. Decayed is a new keyword that says a creature with Decayed can't block, and when it attacks, sacrifice it at the end of combat. This commander is kind of interesting. In fact, it reminds me a lot of another one. You know, Turgid. Yeah, this is definitely a nicer Turgid commander. It's all about getting rid of your opponent's creatures and then getting them on your side of the battlefield. Hopefully, finding ways to either keep those creatures to be able to swing in, deal damage, and not have to sacrifice them, or just gaining any of those effects, whether they be ETB effects or static ability effects, and being able to take advantage of them better than your opponents can. So with that, let's talk about how we would build this deck, or maybe some of the cards that would work really, really well with this commander. So first off, I talked about keeping some of those creatures around. So some of the ways of keeping those creatures around are blinking them. So you can use a card like Cold Storage, which reads that you can pay 3, put target creature you control on Cold Storage. And then it also reads sacrifice Cold Storage and return each creature exiled with Cold Storage to the battlefield under your control. So basically it blinks it, you know, as soon as you sacrifice Cold Storage, you're going to be able to get it back onto the battlefield, and now it's yours. Now it doesn't have that Decayed ability on it, and you just stole your opponent's creatures. Next up is Conjurer's Closet. Conjurer's Closet does a similar thing, but for 1 creature. You can't dump a ton of mana into it like you can with Cold Storage, but you can, at the beginning of your end step, exile a creature that you control, and then return it to the battlefield under your control. Next up is Synod Sanctum. Very similar effect to the other two. So with this one here, you do have to pay some mana and tap it, right? So you're going to pay 2, tap it, exile target permanent you control. And then you can pay 2 and sacrifice Synod Sanctum and return all the cards that you exiled with it to the battlefield under your control. As far as blinking, those are the only few cards that I could really find that will work in a mono black deck. But there are some other ways of keeping those creatures. You can copy them with cards like Blade of Selves. Now, with Blade of Selves, you do have to exile the copies at the end of combat, but now you're getting more effects, and you're getting more of those ETB effects, hopefully, that your opponent's creatures have. Then you have Helm of the Host, where you can make a token copy of it. And then Mirror Pool. Mirror Pool will also make a token copy of a creature that's on the battlefield under your control. Then there are cards that will recur creatures. This is probably one of the biggest benefits of playing black. We have Kaya's Ghost form, which will, if that creature were to die, which it will after you attack with it and you have to sacrifice it, right? If that creature dies, put it into exile and return it to the battlefield under your control. Then we have Minions Return, which pretty much does the same thing. We have Unhallowed Pact, another card that does the same thing. Shades form. Holy Indenture. And then there's Rescue from the Underworld, which this one's a little different. You have to have a card in your graveyard that you want to reanimate. But what you can do is you can sacrifice one of those creatures that you're trying to keep. And then when you sacrifice that creature, you get to target a card in your graveyard to reanimate. And then you get to bring back that card and the creature that you sacrificed at the beginning of your next upkeep. Now, speaking of sacrificing, we want to kill off some of our opponent's creatures, right? We want to gain control of them. We want to put as many of them as we can on our side of the battlefield. So one of the ways that we can go about doing that is making our opponents sacrifice their creatures. So we can do that with Shieldred. We can use a card called the Abyss, although you do have to have over $1,000 to buy this card. So maybe you want to use Magus of the Abyss instead. Then we have Demon's Disciple and the entire package, right? Fleshbag Marauder, Plaguecrafter, and Merciless Executioner. All of which, when they ETB, will make each player sacrifice a creature. If you notice, most of our sacrificing actually has us sacrificing creatures too. So if we're going to be sacrificing our creatures, we want to make sure that we're gaining some additional value. So we're sacrificing creatures off of cards like Fleshbag Marauder that we talked about. But we're also sacrificing off of Gisa, right? Every time we attack with one of our opponent's creatures, we have to sacrifice that creature. So we want to gain some benefit off of that. So one of the meaner ways of doing that and keeping your engine going is Butcher Malakir, which reads, whenever Butcher Malakir or another creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. So now when we're sacrificing our opponent's creatures, we're causing them to have to sacrifice another of their creatures, and then we're gaining control of those at the beginning of our next upkeep. Then we have Dictate of Erebos, which does the same thing, but it has flash, so you can do it at instant speed. And then we have Grave Pact, which, again, does the same thing. Another way of taking advantage of Gisa's ability is to destroy only our opponent's creatures. So some of the ways of doing that are one-sided board wipes. We have Plague Wind, and then we also have In Garruk's Wake, both of which will destroy creatures that you don't control. In Garruk's Wake will also destroy planeswalkers you don't control. Now, we won't be able to gain control of those planeswalkers, but it's nice to get them off the board anyway. And that's really it for our quick take today. So, Gisa, Glorious Resurrector. Very reminiscent of one of the meaner cards in Magic, Tergrid, but you could probably play this and not have to worry about an arch enemy situation. And that's all for today. Until next time, take care.
Please don't forget to leave a comment down below, hit that thumbs up icon, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss any of our content, and also check out our website, thecommandercrew.com, where you can support us by signing up to become a patron or using any of the affiliate links listed, such as Your Playmat, where by using our link you can get 10% off custom sleeves and playmats, or buying your MTG singles and collectibles from TCG Player and Amazon, where we get a kickback for all of your purchases. And of course, Teespring, where you can get your custom Commander Crew hoodies, t-shirts, stickers, and even phone cases. You can also chat with us directly on Instagram, Twitter, and in our Discord if you'd like to talk Magic or be a part of any of our future videos. That's all for today, and until next time, take care.